So, citizens, I am Lord Barton Reese, supreme despot of the entire flat earth. Today I'm going to nuke Israel. Round up the 9/11 collaborators, seize their assets, confiscate their property, put the feminists into chains and make them perform the human centipede for the amusement of this palace and for the amusement of the people. Bring me that knave, bring me that wretch, that abomination, Keith Woods. Have him extraordinarily rendered and brought here in order to attend to my glorious and benevolent diarrhea. I am Lord Barton Reese, and I shall do as I please. I shall have that woman as my wife. I shall have that woman as my wife, and I shall have that woman as my wife. And ye footballers, you must kneel before every football match for an indefinite period of time until I say it is over. For I am Lord Barton Reese, and I am supreme commander of the entire multiverse.
Brilliant. Welcome to the Chris Mitchell podcast, another episode. Probably one of the most interesting intros I've ever had to play on the show. You know, pretty cool. Talk us through that intro, mate.
Oh, I don't know what to say. I did a little skit at the beginning of one of my videos, and Chippy Tits was kind enough to take that little clip and edit it and put some very sort of haunting music to it. And so it became this sort of, that like nice little montage there. So I'm in gratitude to Chippy Tits for making that for me.
He's also known as JMK. For those that don't know who Chippy Tits is, JMK is a man of many, many names. Hopefully, we might see him later on in the show to speak to the biggest fan of yours. You are the Lord. You know, this has been a long time coming. I apologise. I'm very nervous, actually. I don't get nervous, I suppose, to a lot of people in my time, but this is the actual Lord Thomas Baden Reese. Is that how you pronounce your name?
Yes,
yeah.
I accept all pronunciations. But thanks very much for having me on, Chris. It's very kind of you to invite me.
It's good to have you here, bro. Obviously, a lot to talk about over the next hour or so. So, you know, as everyone knows, watching the show, I always like to start off with a nice little icebreaker. So the question is, if you could have the session, and they don't have to be a bit of smoke or a drink, any night out you want, bro, any night out, you have three people to pick, dead or alive. It doesn't have to be politics. Could be family, could be celebrities, just anyone in the world. Who would you pick and why?
Well, this is kind of a tough question, but I thought through this, and I mean, listen, there's lots of kind of historical people, like intellectuals like D.H. Lawrence or Chekhov, Turgenev, these sorts of people who I was very sort of interested in as a sort of young man. But I don't know whether I'd actually really want to have a conversation with any of these people because I know so much about them from their books. In the world of sport, I thought, like, I've always been a big fan of Jose Mourinho until recently, but I don't think I would bother having a conversation with him because I don't understand anything about football tactics. So I guess I'm gonna say a few things. First of all, I think I'd be interested in having a conversation with Millennial Woes. And the reason I'd pick to have a conversation with Millennial Woes is that I think we do have a lot in common. And I think we had similar childhoods. We grew up at a similar time. We're sort of the same age. And so we have sort of similar personalities. So at least one of the people I would want to talk with would be Millennial Woes.
Have you, by the way, so before you go on to the next, have you not spoken to him before?
Oh, well, we've spoken twice on Millennial. And he was on my channel twice back in the day. But we never really have time for a proper conversation. I've just had snatched conversations with him on Telegram, and I had a snatched conversation with him at the Traditional Britain group Christmas dinner do. But we've never really had like a proper sit down, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Your second person.
Do you know Woes, Chris?
Yeah, I've had him on. I had him on my previous show. It was called Patriotic Talk back then. Well, still kind of is, but yeah, I've spoke to him. I've had him on twice, I think, and I met him at a PA conference. I think that was it. Met him once, and had him on 2 shows, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all right.
Sure. The other people I was going to say is I would like to meet the people who are behind the international conspiracy. I'd like to meet the people who are in the Illuminati, because I'm still in shock and awe to understand how a group of people decided to plan 3,000 years ago, a group of people got together and decided to take over the world. And I don't know, I simply can't get my head around the idea of running a conspiracy for 3,000 years. I can understand that one guy in his lifetime might become ambitious and try to sort of become powerful in the world. And I can understand that he might pass that on to his child and his grandchild. But I find it very difficult to understand, like, how a group of people could plot to take over the world 3,000 years ago and have the ability to see it through. And so I guess I would like to sit down with the members of the Illuminati, although I suspect that wouldn't be a very popular opinion on this channel, Chris.
No, I don't. I think that it would be. I don't. We'll discuss that soon. But I think that'd be a bit more than 3 people there, wouldn't that? So maybe. But yeah, we'll get into that, because I am quite interested in that. Yeah, we'll talk about that shortly, actually. But yeah, the third person, minus the thousands you just mentioned.
Oh, well, if I had to pick a third person after all of that, I don't know.
Ralph, it's got to be Ralph.
No, not Ralph. Are you friends with Ralph, Chris?
You know what? Like, not really. Well, I wouldn't say we're friends, but like a bit like me and you. You know, we've spoke here and there. Like, I mean, I was a little bit closer to him because he was actually in PA, and
yes,
you know, and there has been a little fallout here and there. Like, we have had little niggles at each other, but you know, I like having a bit of banter. You know, I'll give him loads of shit. I'm gonna give him shit in his show, but I will happily have him on the show as well, and you know, he might give you a bit of shit on the show, but maybe I can host a debate between you guys. That'd be something I'd actually love to do. Yeah, I don't dislike the guy, but I'm not a big fan of him. But I know you're a massive fan, and we will talk obviously a little bit about that. No, but yeah, who's the third person? Sorry.
I don't know. Maybe I'll bring back Mourinho, or maybe Brian Clough. I was a big fan of Brian Clough.
Would be an excellent choice. I mean, I will tell you mine. I mean, I had Tyson Fury, you know, in case anything kicks off. Cole Pilkington.
Okay,
he's hilarious. Tell you some stories, and I think I might change it in the future. To be fair, I might have a little sit down. I just said it off the cuff on my first show, so I've kept with it. But the other one was Paul Gascoigne. You know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he knows how to have a session. And obviously, you got the big man, the heavyweight champion of the world, to protect you all. Cole Pilkington there in the corner moaning, but his moaning is absolutely hilarious. So, you know, and then you got me and Gaza just shot after shot after shot. So that would be my 3 as it stands. But you know, I felt like I needed to keep 2 because you know, I said it in the first show. But there's loads to choose from, isn't there? You know, like, there is loads to choose from.
Yeah, I mean, Tyson Fury is a great guy, because not only is he a good, a great boxer, but he's not unwilling to say, you know, some controversial political things. I think he's called out Zionism in the past.
Yeah.
So Tyson Fury is definitely a good guy. And as for Paul Gascoigne, I don't know. Did you see recently he was involved in I know what you're going
to mention, the charity match.
Yes, it was so sad to see what's happened to him.
Allegedly, I mean, I don't obviously I've seen it, but apparently that's like his friend's son or something. Then it was all a part. They prank each other apparently. So I don't know if that's true, but that's what reports are seen. But yeah, it's a bit odd. If that was some random child and he just kicked him over.
Oh,
is that what you're on about? Oh, so you're on about something else?
I just meant I saw him play in this match, and he looked worse than me as a footballer.
Oh right, yeah.
But I didn't know there had been something else going on.
Oh yeah, so basically there was a kid on the sideline, and he said, "Give me the ball." So like he throws the ball away, and he says, "Go and get it," and then he trips him up, and obviously the internet went meltdown. How dare he should be locked up? He's tripping up a kid. It's not funny. but reports came after that it was actually like a friend's son or something like that, and they just prank each other. So, but yeah, that's what I thought you was going to mention. I shouldn't have jumped the gun there, so I apologise for butting in and being a little bit rude.
No, were you of the generation, like I grew up, like I was 10 when World Cup 1990 was on, and of course Gascoigne was just sublime in that World Cup, and he was just the talisman of the English team. Did you sort of grow up in that era?
I was in 1989, so I was one obviously for that tournament, but I was 7 in 96 when he scored that, and I actually remember that really well. I was at my nan's when he done the flick over Hendry and scored that goal against Scotland. So yeah, special moment, and yeah, like a quality player. Just a shame, obviously, you know, alcohol got the better of him. But you know, the guys are millions over the past. Drink is obviously a massive problem. I've had a few problems with drinking. I think if I had that kind of money, this is another reason why I like Tyson Fury, because he obviously went down a dark path. Drinking, you know, drugs or whatever, you know, depression, suicidal thoughts, and he came out. You know, I see him as an ambassador for mental health issues, so I look up to him. I see like he's come from like being 20 plus. Oh, I don't know how big he was, stone wise, but he was a big fucker, and he come back to win the heavyweight championship of the world, and that's such a great attitude to have. And you know, I think he's an ambassador for many people around the world. You know, many people can look up to him, so I certainly look up to him. You know, because I went through similar, and I think if I had the money when I was going through my dark patch, if I had the money they did, you know, obviously I would have drank more, consumed more, because you know I'm fucking loaded like they are. Do you know what I mean? So I can see how they go down that spiral path. You know, as I've been there myself, but obviously they have a lot more money to waste than me. So obviously it would have been a lot worse. But yeah, that's why I picked Tyson Fury as well. I think is an inspiration. But yeah, there'll be people. Oh, he's selling out now. You know, because I think he said a few things. But you know, he's in the media eye, man. He has to, don't he? A lot of people do. But I still like him.
Oh, I think provided people have been controversial at one time, I'm sort of willing to give them a free pass. You can't expect them to be like completely based and red pilled as we are. Yeah, they're going to cuck eventually. But I think if they at least make an attempt to be controversial.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I know we're going a little bit off subjects, but this is interesting actually. Yeah, but it's like, I don't know how much you know about Matt Letizia, another legend. Since he's left the Sky Sports, you know, he's talking about the whole jab issue. Have to try and be careful here, YouTube. The whole situation that's going on, people collapsing. You know, he's trying to try and bring awareness to this, and he'll never get another job on TV again. You know what I mean? He's been brave enough to come out, and that's why, you know, this is their livelihoods at the end of the day. So as long as you don't cook too much, because there are some that's cooking too much in the sporting world, you know, and the whole taking a knee when that was around. Well, it's still going on actually, isn't it? But probably not as big or talking points at this present moment. But yeah, I think they're gonna cook. That's their livelihood. That's their job. You know, and they're such short careers at now in football. Look, obviously they're earning hundreds of thousands of pounds, but obviously they're going to have bigger bills, bigger debts to pay, family to raise, and whatever. And you know, and they've worked hard to be in that position from such a young age. You know, they've got to try and keep that livelihood, and they'll be retired. You know what? Some get injured and have to retire in their 20s and never play again or whatever. But yeah, mainly about 35, isn't it? Probably the average age of retirement, and you've still got another. Yeah, they should be sorted for life, but unless you're stupid. But you know, you never know. Not all of them. A lot of them are stupid. That's their time, then, isn't it? They're like, all right, I can now eat what I want and go out when I want and have a party and probably just waste all the millions they've earned.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but I'm willing to give Tyson Fury a pass because he did try to be, you know, talking about Zionism is controversial. But I'm not willing to give footballers a pass who've never done anything and willfully took the knee. You know, they need to be brought. They need to be brought to book. They need to be punished for what they've done, and they need to, you know, to learn the lesson that they shouldn't be doing that kind of thing because they're role models. And if they want to be role models, they need to have a different attitude. So I think a lot of these people completely deserve to be punished, and you know, hopefully they will be punished in time.
Yeah, 100%. Interesting. We are going to have our little guest here soon, but before we do, just to talk a little bit about, I don't know how much you've mentioned it in your show. Obviously, I am a part of the TBR cult, but I'm not as big of a cult member as some, and I've not watched every show, so I don't know how much your audience know this. A little bit about your childhood, where you were born, well, not the exact moment, time, or whatever. Just a little bit about your childhood life. How was that? And where about in the country was you as a child?
Well, I don't think I've ever told this about where I was born. Actually, I don't think I've ever sort of explained to people. But I was born in Newcastle, of all places. So interesting.
Talking about the one, because there is two in the country. The one by Stoke, and there's one. I'm presuming talking about one near Sunderland way. Yeah?
Exactly. The one in the northeast. So it was interesting that I grew up. Gascoigne was like the big guy in Newcastle at that time, and so I grew up, in that era, in that place, and so he was like huge up there. In fact, my father and his family live in exactly the same village that he comes from, and so my uncle kind of knew his father. He knew Gaz's father.
Really?
So yeah, so
what was he like, by the way? Was there any similarities to the both?
What my uncle said about the father, what did he say? He said, because my uncle was like a navvy back in the day, and my uncle said that the Gascoigne's father worked on a building site with my uncle, and my uncle said he was always a really nice lad, like Gaz's father was. So I think my uncle always spoke very well of Gascoigne's father, but I think my uncle had a lesser opinion of Gascoigne because he did waste a lot of his the opportunities he had. But his father, I think Gascoigne's father, my uncle always spoke very well of. So yes, but anyway, I grew up of all places in Newcastle, which it's kind of a bit weird because I was very much a fish out of water up there. But that said, I was good at football. I liked football, so I could mix with the lads, in that sort of sense. I had that in common with them. But otherwise, I was a bit of a fish out of water. But it's funny because I think it's influenced my political opinions because I think at one and the same time, I know that I'm different from the people in Newcastle. But at the same time, I know I can see how they have been let down by the system very, very badly. And I don't like to see them disrespected. I don't like to see them without jobs, without hopes, without future. I want to rejuvenate these people and reinvigorate them and give them what they should get, which is, proper rulers who take care of them, who make sure they've got good jobs, who make sure that they're happy, content people, So I think ultimately it's very weird that I grew up in Newcastle, but I think it has had a big influence on my political positions.
Interested in how many years would you say you was in Newcastle for until you left?
Well, 18 really, and then I went to university.
What happened with the older wave man up the tune? Did you ever have these?
Well, honestly, I had to change my accent. I mean, listen, I was never like all the kids in the playground used to, not bully me, but they used to take the piss out of me for having a posh accent. But I guess up until the 18, it was a kind, you would have heard inflections of a Geordie accent in my voice. When I went away to university, I really just changed completely to a sort of posh accent. But I mean, to hear my uncle speak, you'd think, my uncle sounds like broader than Morgoth. Morgoth sounds very educated in comparison to my uncle, if you know what I mean. That's not a dig at Morgoth, by the way, but you know what I mean. Morgoth obviously has a very typical Geordie accent, but my uncle is even broader.
It's quite fascinating. I just didn't expect that, I really didn't. I didn't know where the accent was from. Obviously, I definitely wouldn't have thought Newcastle. I was like, because I was quite interested. I wonder where he was born and grew up. Newcastle. If somebody told me Newcastle before the show, I'd be like, mate, April Fool's was the other day. Pack it in. pack it in. I would not expect that. But yeah, as you said there, like you said, like people would take the piss out your. You had a bit of a posher accent compared to the other guys. You know, how did that make you feel though? Did that really like get you down? You know, like did you?
You know what? When I was in middle school, like from about, let's say, 10 to 13, I was really I was good at football and I was kind of cool. And I was really good at, like, if someone took the piss out of me, I'd take the piss out of them back. So I could really handle it, like up to about the age of 13. And I gave as good as I got. But then at high school, it didn't really quite work because, like, you know, I don't want to say the bullying got a bit more nastier, but it was like I went down a different path, shall we say, to most of the people that I was at school with. And so they had their way of seeing things. I had my way of seeing things. And I was just a fish out of water in high school. I was a fish out of water in high school. I was a fish out of water in the football teams I played for. You know, the people I was in teams with were like, you know, they were men. They were basically men, and I was like still just like a teenage boy. You know, but these guys I was playing football with, they're like, you know, maybe they had kids by the time they were 15. This kind of thing. They were real kind of men. So I was very much a fish out of water, and I guess it had a profound effect on me. So yeah.
Again, would you say that was anyone giving? When you said it got a little bit worse, would you say there was like some people were trying to like maybe punch you to that kind of level?
Oh no, it was always just piss taking. It was always just piss taking. But it's like, you know, I always knew, like I didn't enjoy it at the time, but I always knew that they were sort of a bit jealous of me, and you know, and fair enough, because I had a lot going for me. I was middle class. I was, you know, good at academic stuff. I was also good at sports, so people kind of felt like, oh, for fuck's sake, I hate this guy. So it didn't really get me down. It just sort of made me a very sort of alienated person because I didn't have much in common, you know, with the people I was around. So yeah, but it's not something I think about. I think it influences my politics today because I care about the people ultimately that I went to school with. And probably lots of them don't have jobs now, or they feel like they've been, if they, you know, they feel like the political system doesn't represent them. And so I feel sorry for them in that respect. And I sort of want to represent them.
I mean, like, all right, well, we'll move on that.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Go on. Sorry. Well,
I was going to say, I mean, you're obviously are you from Birmingham, right?
Yeah. How did you know? I might need to come and get some of those accent lessons, and try and change my accent, mate. I actually live in Norfolk now. I've been here for about 6-7 years, and yeah, still same accent. You know, but thankfully I don't sound. No offense to anyone from Norfolk, but you do sound like a bunch of farmers, and I'd rather keep my daft Brummie accent. So yeah, but similar to you in a way, but like obviously I'm ginger, you know, there's a ginger top, you know, load of ginger jokes, and you know, but I always took it on the chin. I used to take the piss. I'd be like, mate, I'm the coolest ginger guy in the school, man. Like, you can't say I'm the coolest brown hair guy in the school. The coolest, there's a fucking shitloads of you, man. You got to compete against each other. There's only 3 of us bitches, and you know, I handled it like that, and people just used to laugh. I mean, I knew one ginger guy that was like crying, and I was like, man, like. I tried to like make just like man up, man. Come on, just take the fucking piss out of yourself, man, because you know it will get, and it got worse for him. Do you know what I mean? If the bullies, you know, they didn't bully me, but I think it would have if I allowed him, but like crying about it like this other kid, you know, it would have got worse. And this one lad, he just couldn't hack it, you know, and that's how a bit similar to what you just said there. It's like you can, as long as you can take it and you take the piss out of them back, you know, you have that little bit of respect. But obviously it's a little bit different for me because I didn't have that middle class accent. Because I think there was a couple of guys in my school that did have middle class accents, and again, they were targeted over their accent. You know what I mean? Whereas mine, it's like I'm typical working class lad. I'm in all the sports teams. I think it was only basically cricket. I could have got in it. I got asked to be in it, and I was like, mate, this is boring. No offense to any cricket fans watching, but it is a boring sport. You know, apart from when you're in batting, apart from when you can just like whack the ball whenever you can. But other than that, yeah, it bored me standing out in the field, like in the sunshine, getting fucking sunburned. When it is sunny anyway here, not often.
Yeah, I hate cricket as well, but it's interesting you moved to Norwich, because I used to live there. I went to university there. I mean, how do you find Norwich in comparison to Birmingham?
Well, I'm actually in Great Yarmouth, but I did live in Norwich as well.
Yes, sorry,
just outside Norwich. Yeah,
yes.
so obviously it's a much quieter lifestyle. Less, well, you know, it's getting there. It's going to get there. Less immigration. The demographics, like the area I'm in, it's pretty much, I'd say 98% English, white English, or or white, should we say? You know, I see very rare. Like the Great Yarmouth's got quite a big Eastern European, you know, which I don't agree with that kind of immigration either. Like I believe it should. I'm for England first. I think it should be an English country. I don't want immigration. White. It don't matter what colour you are. Just I don't want immigration. I want it to be for the English people and for the British people. But yeah, I find it a lot better, a lot more peaceful. You know, been a bit tougher for work. You know, I'm a welder, so now I've got a new job I'm starting. You know, which I'm meeting tomorrow to discuss. It's a different sort of job. I'm not going to go into it here because in case anyone tries to dox it, you know, if they find it eventually they can. But yeah, it's a no different kind of job, and I'm looking forward to it. So, but yeah, it's a lot better.
Well, I mean, what do you think about Great Yarmouth? Because I went there maybe in 1999, I think, and it was very much a rundown seaside town. Like you could see its glory had faded. I mean, does it still feel today as if it's like been neglected?
Absolutely, yeah. It's I don't go into Great Yarmouth really because it is run down. It is a lot of Eastern Europeans. I mean, the only time you probably wouldn't see that is when it's the summer, and then obviously you've got all your families from around the country coming for a little break, a little holiday, and that's when it's looking like it's vibrant. But pretty much the other 8-9 months of the year, it's not good. It's not good. Not a lot of work either. So that's what I mean. That's why I'm taking a different route, because it was literally I was gonna be like, look, it's depressing me. I've been working all this time, and you know, I lost my job before Christmas. I was ready to go back to Birmingham. I was so close, and then it was just the sun came out one day, and I went to the beach, and I sat there for an hour. I was like, am I really gonna give up this life, go back to Birmingham? I was like, I've got to do something. So I just rang up the job center. I said, look, a jobs for in Birmingham, which it didn't. I can still go there and get jobs. There's loads of welding jobs, but I just thought, have you got anything at all that maybe I can? And they offered me this one thing. I thought, you know what? I'll give it a go. I'll just give it one last go. If I don't like it, the Birmingham offer's still there. Do you know what I mean? So we'll give it one last blast, stay in here and hopefully build a life here. But it is run down. It is run down. It's not great.
Sure, mate. I mean, I hope eventually these places will get a really good renovation. It's interesting because a lot of the coast along the northeast was also in decline about 10 or 15 years ago, but they have actually made an effort to, sophisticate and sort of, reinvigorate the coast along the northeast, and even places like Sunderland look quite nice now. So I hope they can do the same to Great Yarmouth. But I'm of course I didn't. You probably haven't watched my channel much, but I am hoping that a revolution is going to come round, and when that does, I certainly hope that we can change a lot of the societies in England that have been neglected and left behind, and I hope we can give good jobs to the working classes, not jobs that are difficult, not jobs that are soul destroying, but jobs that people can enjoy, where they feel like they're working for themselves. I mean, one of the things that I'd like to see happen is that we get, working class people can be able to set up a shop, and maybe it's a cafe, maybe it's a butcher's or whatever, but I want there to be an easy route for working class people to be able to, set up their own business, rather than they have to go work for some stupid Starbucks or big corporation, this kind of thing.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I think with courses as well, like, I mean, you get to an age, like, I mean, obviously I spent my college years, I've done football coaching first, and, you know, looking back, it's a pointless qualification unless it's who you know in that game. But also it was a great year. It was a great year. I met some great people, and I was coached by some professional footballers who were doing their badges. You know, they had to teach us or whatever, coach us, and they were getting inspected by the FA. You know, it was a fantastic year, so I don't take it back. But obviously, in the grand scheme of things, it's a bit wasted because I'll never use that qualification. Maybe like to teach kids when I'm older, but I'm not. No, I'm not interested. Then obviously I went welding for 2 years. But I think, then obviously as you get older, you know, when I rang the job centre up after I lost my last job, I said, look, is there any courses you can put me? Oh yeah, a labouring course or a security course. And I was like, what, is this the only two offers? I mean, I've been there all the t-shirt, a labourer. That's how I got into welding originally. I was a labourer, and then they sent me to college. I was like, well, why would I want to go backwards? Surely there's another course you can send me. I was like, oh, well, there's not, you know. And I don't know if that's the same in other areas around the country, but I just think surely you can do a little bit better. Like I'm still 32, you know. I could at least attend some. There must be a course I can go on to learn maybe like bricklaying, plumbing, or something else. You know, that's what I was quite interested in doing. But the job centre here anyway, I don't know about the rest of the country. They were like, no, you can't do it. You have to pay for it your own way. I was like, well, how can I pay for it my own way when I haven't got a job to pay for it at the moment? And then if I do have a job, how am I going to do the course when I'm doing the other job? So I think they could probably help a lot more people out that just ain't in those college years. You know what I mean?
Oh yes, I mean, listen, we're living in a completely it's a ridiculous age, and it's a ridiculous age that we live in because essentially people are just left to their own devices, and this is not how a functioning society should work. In a functioning society, you should have a king at the top who completely takes care of all his people, who makes sure that not one of them is unemployed, and like I say, who makes sure that not only are people not unemployed, but they want to work. They want to get up in the morning and feel excited about their work because it has some meaning. They're working for themselves, or they're working for the community. That, you know, they're working for some higher purpose. The modern day society we've got is a load of rot, you know, because people are just left on their own. If they want to get a job, they end up getting some soul destroying job working for a corporation or something. So there's no meaning to that. There's no, other than a paycheck. And so, but also people are just isolated, and people have lost the understanding that you have to have a king who takes care of everybody and makes sure that they're sort of that this every need that a citizen has is taken care of. So that's what I wanted to say. The other thing I was going to ask you though, which footballers did you train with, or did you get trained by?
Lee Carsley, Kevin Phillips, Hassan Kashol, what was his name? He went to Real Madrid. Graverson, do you remember him? Graverson.
Oh yeah,
Thomas Graverson, is that his name? I can't remember his name.
The Danish guy.
Danish guy, yeah. Also, I got to play. I'm a Birmingham City fan, by the way, but I did get to play. I got to play Aston Villa ground. So that was pretty cool, even though I don't like them. But you know, it's a massive stadium, and so I think it was just those four. And I was my coach was actually a guy called Barry Powell. He was he was in his 60s then. You won't know him. I didn't know him, but he played for Derby, Wolves, and he actually played against Pele at Wembley, in the 70s. So
really
legend, and he was in his 60s, and he used to get involved in five-side and we were a good team. We were a college team. Do you know what I mean? We came like third, fourth. Like we played for Solihull Moors, which basically not the main team that's in the conference now, but basically they're under 16s under 18s. We played for their under 18s, and he was our manager, and he just used to run rings around us. Couldn't get near him, and I'm like, fucking hell, man, 60. And he was such a good one-to-one coach, you know. He'd put an arm range and be like, look, this is where your strengths are. This is where you can improve it. He didn't slag you off. He didn't shout at you like, look, mate, if you've done this instead of what you've done there, like, and he was just had that way with you, and you just had this utmost respect for him. That every game, he just wanted. Similar to Clough, like a lot of people will be saying about Clough, just, you know, but not, well, actually, no, because Clough did like to shout. This guy never shouted really, but you just have that level of respect. You you just want to go out there and not only perform for yourself and your teammates, but for him as well. You know, yeah, it was.
So was this when you were a school kid? You played for him?
College, straight after school into college. Yeah, I had to go to like a trial. We had to go into a trial to get into the Solihull Moors under 18s, and you play every Wednesday. And and obviously I got in. So
you must have been a pretty good player then.
Yeah. Wait there. Let me see if I've got. This is. I'll tell you what.
I'll keep talking for the sake of the audience, just to I've
got loads, but I'll show you the main two, man. I'll show you the main two.
Okay.
I've got loads, but boom. Right, there you go.
Oh wow.
That's manager's player.
Yeah.
Right, and
managers like player of the year, or
that's this was the same year.
Oh, players player as well.
So yeah, this. I've got about another 8 trophies over there, but those two are my memorable ones. We've got the guest there. I'll get you in 1 second, bro. Because I was 16, and when you come out of school, you're basically going to an adult league. So I was 16, 17 that year. We play with adults, so it's anyone from 16 to maybe even 40. So that was my first adult league, and I won the manager player of the season, where he's voted for his best player of the whole team. I won that, and then the players voted, and everyone picked. Well, I don't know about everyone, but obviously I won the majority vote. So that was probably one of my best achievements, to be fair, like singly anyway.
Yeah, that's excellent, mate. So what position did you play?
It's like I'm getting interviewed now, isn't it? It's okay, man. We're having a chat. It's all right. It's always nice to have a bit of back and forth anyway.
Of course.
I was centre mid or centre back. Depends. Centre mid was my favourite because it's I can create and try and score goals, but also centre back. I love that as well because it's just stop goals as well. So yeah, as long as it's one of those two positions. I mean, I had a period because I was scoring a few goals. I went to this other team. I was with one team. Was winning I won loads of trophies with them, but I weren't enjoying it. We was winning 6-0. I mean, I know it sounds daft, but we was winning 6-7-0 every week. But I was playing with some pricks. You know what I mean? If you pass one ball, what are you doing? Just shouting, and I'm like, mate, I want to win, and I'm like, we're 6-0 up. Stop screaming and shouting at everyone for giving the ball away. It's just they had this clique of about 5 people that were just moaning. I'm like, what are you moaning for, man? We're winning 5-0. Yeah, someone's give the ball, or I've give the ball away once, and you're jumping on me. It's like, I understand the will to win, but we're not professionals. It's just Sunday evening. And then my mates rang me. I was like, you don't sound happy, man. I'm just like, I know we're winning and I'm winning trophies, but it's. I just like to play for fun, and it's taking the fun out of it with these moaning bastards, even though we were winning. And they said, "Come down to us." And so I left them to join a team that was fighting relegation. And and they beat us. They beat us 5-1. We played them, but I scored the first goal. I made it 1-0 against my old team. So I was imagine if because they were brilliant, man. I was like, oh man, if we win 1-0, I've scored the winner against my old team. that was, but they destroyed us. They were too good. 5-1, I think it was. But then we stayed up. I actually got the goal to keep us up. We ended third bottom. We needed a point to stay up, and we were 2-0 down. We got it to 2-2, and then I made it 3-2 in the last minute. So I got the goal to keep us in the league.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Should we get all?
Oh yes.
Is he here? Can you hear me?
So, kids.
There we go. So this is Chippy Tits Clips. He's joining us. He's got a few questions. This is the main man, the main cult follower of TBR. He owns the channel. I think he owns the group, or did own the group until he had a.
You're too kind. You're too kind.
But absolute legend, also known as JMK. Bro, the dance floor is yours. Ask the main man whatever you want. This is your moment to shine, to ask your true leader.
How's it going, man? I'm a bit starstruck at the moment. How's it going, Thomas? You're looking well.
Oh, thanks. Yes, I'm feeling good. I'm in a good mood, Chippy Tits. How are you doing?
Good, man. I'm not too bad, thanks. I'm not too bad myself. Enjoying the weather.
Yes. Where? Which? Enjoying the weather.
Yeah.
Are you in Spain or something?
He's in Israel, obviously.
No, I'm in London. It's just a little bit sunny, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's nice. Nice.
Oh, whereabouts in London do you live, Chippy Tits? I love London, and I've wanted to go back there for so long, but I haven't really had the chance. Do you? I mean, without doxing yourself, do you?
It's quite. That is quite.
There's a couple of people want his docs right now, mate. I'll tell you.
I do have a few fanatic fans, but I'm in the south and southeast region. But I do move around sometimes. I go up towards Luton sort of area as well. But yeah,
Are you a football fan, Chippy Tits?
I'm Millwall myself.
Oh, Millwall. Oh, great.
What do you expect from a hooligan like him?
Are you part of the, what's it called? The Millwall hardcore fans?
Oh no, I'm a good boy. I don't cause any trouble at all.
Were you one of the ones who booed the Black Lives Matter taking the knee?
No, I would never boo Black Lives Matter. That's just not a no. Maybe there may be a little during. But so I do have a few questions. Wait, I had to write them down because I was a bit nervous to actually speak to you. It's like meeting one of my childhood stars, sort of.
Are you getting paid to be one of my fanboys, Chippy Tits?
I wish I was. I'm doing a pretty good job, isn't I?
The Rothschilds aren't giving you some money to do this.
Not yet. I need to get a new deal with them.
I'll have a word with Jacob Rothschild and see if I can get him to give you some shekels.
Please do. I need them.
That's going to get clicked. Chris is working with them. That's going to get clicked.
It's levels of banter most people won't be able to understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first question, number one, when they inevitably make the movie of your life, who would you like to act as you in the story of your life?
Oh my God, who would I want to play me? I think I'd want Mel Gibson to play me.
Mel Gibson.
I know that's a bit. I know he doesn't. I don't look anything like him, but I don't know. He's a Chad male. He's got the right political opinions, so I think I'd be happy with him playing the older version of me.
Yeah, he is quite based. I was going to say he's a bit too old for you, isn't he?
Well, maybe. You know what? I'm so out of touch with Hollywood that I couldn't even tell you a younger actor, to be honest.
Same, actually. Do you not watch any movies or anything then?
Not really. No, I don't have the attention span. I think most movies are a bit shit. They're full of propaganda. Yeah. So.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. I mean, I haven't watched movies seriously for like 7 or 8 years. They're just not the same as they used to be.
Yes. When did you get red pilled, Chippy Tits?
That is a good question. Still waiting. We're still waiting for him to get red pilled. We've been trying for ages, mate, honestly.
I'm still cringe and blue tip pilled. I'm still a libtard. No, but with the whole Rothschild thing and all that, it must have been around 2007 or 2008. I started looking into them and the whole truther thing, and then more things come from that sort of, if you know what I mean. But
yes,
I've always, despite my accent, I've always been sort of England first. So it's like, well, I've always known there's something wrong, but then when you start looking into all the different levels of like the stuff going on, conspiracies and all this sort of thing, it's my phone died.
What do you mean despite your accent, Chippy Tits?
Has he gone?
Oh, I'm not sure.
He just said something about his phone was going to die. Bloody professional, isn't it? No, it is his big moment.
He might come back, I'm sure, if he gets
Yeah,
his phone
I'm
working again.
sure it will. All right, we'll move on. I'm waiting for him to come back. He's on question 2, isn't he? So, yeah, we'll move on. I've got a 5-round question I'll ask you later, but we'll do that after he's been on. Yeah, let's get your opinion on the Will Smith and Chris Rock. I mean, staged, real. What's your old thoughts on it?
You know, I don't know what to say about this. It might have been. I'm more than willing to believe it was completely staged. Maybe it wasn't, but I'm more than willing to believe it was. Either way, that I just couldn't give a shit. You know, it's just like one of these stupid stories about nothing really. It's just distracting from way more important issues. So I don't have much to say about it, to be honest. What did you think?
Yeah, pretty similar to you. I just thought because it's been in the news a lot, so I just thought I'll ask you something that's taken up a lot of the news, and I think that's a good answer. I'm like, I don't care if it's staged. I just wanted your opinion, and it's pretty much agree with you. I don't care if it's. I mean, I think it probably is real because I don't think it's a good look for them. I don't think it's a good look for black people. You know, and just the pure venom and anger it seemed. I mean, I know they're actors, so I mean, I think I'm pretty much more like thinking real more than staged. But you know, I don't. And again, like it is a distraction with everything that's going on, and like, oh, this is a massive storyline. I was like, who gives a fuck? And I also think like if it was real and it was a white guy doing this to Chris Rock, it would have been blown out of proportion. Even bigger. Like, what a racist attack this is! Absolutely disgusting. You know, and so I think. Yeah, it would have been interesting if it was a white person that done it, but you know yourself, man, the rage it would have been. Yeah, I just thought I'd ask the quickest question there. I had a feeling you're probably on that server. Chippy Tits, go on.
Sorry, I'm professional. My phone died.
Question 2.
Question 2. All right, I'll steam through this quickly. Right, basically, not only known in truther circles, right-wing circles, like conspiracies, nationalists, and that sort of circles, but you're also quite savage in like the blood sports scene. But is there anyone that you see in the whole scene that you wouldn't like to come up against, or you think twice about going up against?
Honestly speaking, I wouldn't. Well, okay, I'll say this. I'm not really scared of anyone. I'm not really scared of anyone when it comes to it. That said, I wouldn't like to be on the wrong end of Nick Fuentes' groypers because you wouldn't want to be on the wrong end of them. That said, it's fortunate that I in basic bitch terms, I completely agree with Nick Fuentes. So it's a good job that I'm a fan of his.
Yeah.
So I like you even more now, TBR. I like you even more. I'm a massive fan, you know.
Yes, I think he's been excellent for the distant right. I think he's a practical guy who understands realpolitik and has, seeing him get on the nerves of Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk, was absolutely brilliant. But who else might be? I don't think I'm not very scared of that many people, honestly, Chippy Tits. I would be scared of the Rothschilds, though. They're serious players and they could have me over for breakfast. So,
surely not.
No, they could. I mean, these are dangerous people who could really fuck me over if they wanted to. But, if the mainstream media went for me tomorrow, I wouldn't be that worried. I'd be a bit annoyed, but I think pound for pound, I could take on anyone in the mainstream media. There's no one in the mainstream media who I'm really scared of. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, I don't know. You spoke about the groupers before, didn't you? Like when we myself and a few of us rang radio stations. Is this not something you would do yourself, like ring a radio station and like on a certain topic and put your argument across and do a bit of grouping?
It's a good question. I don't have the time during the day to to spend 2 hours waiting in a queue hoping to have an argument with Mike Graham or something. Yeah. So I don't. But also, I'm not sure that that's my best. I think I'm very quick to melt down when I don't have control of a conversation. And so, I'd have to be Mike Graham's bitch if I phoned into him. And so I'm not sure that's like the best use of my skills. One thing I have always thought about doing which I did think I'd do it one time, but I've never really got around to it, is just going full trans and like trying to get on the mainstream media as a trans woman, and then just sort of like fucking, you know, like talking a load of bollocks, but doing it in a way which is kind of trolling the leftists. And if anyone's got a problem with my opinions, I just keep, you know, accusing them of transphobia or what have you. That's something I thought about doing. I might do it eventually. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know how many you've seen of mine, but a lot of mine have had to been like that. To be fair,
oh really?
Yeah. Well, I never went as a trans, by the way. Against doing that, even as a troll. But I did. Yeah, I used to ring up. I made one call before. I remember one specifically when they were talking about Laura Towler, and so I just thought, fuck it, well, I'm going to ring up, because they a whole segment on Laura Towler. I was friends with her back then, and I said, look, I'm Laura Towler's mate. She's given me permission to speak on her behalf. Let me come on. Let me debate it. Right, we'll call you back. So I used my ex-girlfriend's phone. I thought, you know what? I'm going to fucking test the waters now. They should realistically, want me on. I'm going to be representing Laura Towler, who they're discussing, who they're literally like putting down as a racist or whatever. So I rang up on my ex's phone. Same accent, to be fair. I didn't even put it on. I was like, all right, my name's Nelson. I'm half Jamaican, half Brummie. And I am absolutely disgusted on what's going on, all the racism that's going on. Obviously, being from Birmingham, you know, it's a brilliant, vibrant, multicultural city. And I'm like, can you come on right now? And I was like, yeah, of course. And I went on there. I was like, yeah, I love mass migration. I mean, but I played it cool. You know what I mean? I advertised PR. All I'm seeing everywhere is these patriotic alternative leaflets and Google David Coleman 2066. And they're going to be a minority by 2066. I was like, I don't care. Sooner they're the minority, the better it is for diversity. So then obviously I'm feeding the public there, like, who's patriotic alternative. They used to then, I looked at the Google Trends, man, their name used to go through the roof. Like, because people are thinking, who's this fucking half black geezer ringing up, half black, half woman, ringing up, and who's patriotic alternative? So they're getting straight on their phone, typing them in, and with a bit of luck, they signed up to them. So, you know, I used to do things like that all the time.
Yeah, you should send me the video of that, Chris. If you've got, have you still got it somewhere?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. I'll send you a few. Another one. I'll tell you another one, Sharpie. So I'll get your next question.
Radio.
It's on mine. I said, like, yeah, all right, mate. Just before I go into the whole COVID stuff, I was with my workmate the other day, an old workmate, and no, I was with my workmate, and he told me that he keeps getting drunk and kicks out of bars, and he said to me he's been kicked out of 109 bars. But it's never his fault. And I find that bizarre to say. He has been on LBC this was, and he was just like, and the commentator, I'll have to send it here, was literally like, yeah, it's a bit strange if he's been kicked out 109 times. Like, that one was just plain. I know the audience will probably think, who the fuck's this guy? That was more for my audience that knew, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, this is my gift for you, like, just for a laugh, and But I've got a few of them, and I'll have to send it. I've had a few of us used to like ring in, pretending to be fucking a gay Jew, like my old co-host. Yes. He used to ring in, and he said like, "Yeah, I'm an Israel. We got this Jewish dance. We go on top of the rooftops, and we watch those airplanes come in." Fucking class. I'll pick a few out for you.
The Ian Lee ones were Keno too, mate. They were proper good.
Oh, Ian Lee, I think you reported on the Ian Lee ones, yeah?
Yes, I definitely saw the Ian Lee ones. That was very funny. I mean, he is totally obnoxious, and his wife is pretty obnoxious as well. But no, I'm really pleased. You should send me all of these, and I think I watched them back in the day. But I think the most important thing is to use reverse psychology, because then they can't cut you off without making themselves, like, they don't know what's happening when you use reverse psychology, and they go down, they go along with it because they think they're virtue signaling. And in the end, you're taking the piss out of them. And like you say, Chris, you're also informing them, like, inadvertently, like when you talk about the dangers of the dangers of patriotic alternative, or let's make whites a minority as soon as we can because that's good for diversity, you're also red pilling people at the same time as you're taking the piss. And that's why I think that reverse psychology is really the best way to do these things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've rang up as myself a couple of times, but I'll get into some heated debates, and then they turn your mic down, and they proper look down, and but when they think they've got an actual lefty there that's their hero, and and reverse psychology, as you just mentioned there, man, it tricks them, and then obviously we're hoping in the background these people are researching what. Back then, I won't do it now, but PA back then, or just the David Coleman stuff, and so forth. Yeah, they were my favourite ones, and I used to just make notes on what I'm going to say, and I just used to shoot out loads of facts or loads of predictions that might or might not be happening, and then I also try and put white people down on the strength of they're going to be a minority. So it's like now they know how we feel and things like that, and hopefully that will piss off the white people listening and thinking, right, okay, well, I need to do something about these. I hate this guy that's on the show. Who's this PA that's fucking signed off and trying to that's how I used to work.
Yes, absolutely. If by pretending to be a leftist, you can make the audience hate leftists. And if like you say, if you go on as yourself and you go on for an honest debate, you're just going to get trampled on. You've got no chance of winning, and you're going to get mad, and they'll be able to wind you up. Whereas, like I say, the way you did it is a really clever way of doing it.
Yeah, I will. I'll look for them tonight or tomorrow, and I'll DM you on Telegram.
Yeah, do, mate. I look forward to it.
Go on, Chippy.
All right, number 3. Have you ever had any battles with addictions or any stories like that?
Well, I did. I was addicted to sugar and coffee at one time, and that was quite difficult to give up. So I had to give up coffee because I had problems with my heart. I had to give up sugar because I had problems with my stomach, and it was really impossible at first. It was really impossible to give up coffee. Like, I adored coffee, I just couldn't get enough of it. So I couldn't do cold turkey. But what I did is I reduced my intake down to 2 cups a day, and 2 cups of Starbucks a day. So I would have 2 cups of Starbucks coffee a day, and that was a big reduction from having 10 cups a day. And then gradually I managed to get down to just 1 cup of coffee a day, and then eventually I moved to just as many cups of coffee as I liked, but only at the weekend. And then during the week, I didn't have any coffee. And then eventually, I just managed to ditch it from there. So I couldn't go cold turkey. That would never be me. But I had to wean myself off it for about 2 years.
And coffee, it's one of those things. It just, when you get used to drinking coffee, you can just neck them back all day, can't you?
Oh yes. Have you had any problems with addiction, Chippy Tits?
Well, you might be able to tell from that voice note that I sent you a while ago about seeing aliens that I was drinking a little bit last year.
Oh.
But I can confirm there were no aliens, just helicopters flying by.
Chippy Tits, what did you mean when you said, despite my accent, I'm England first? I didn't understand that.
I sort of don't sound English sometimes.
Oh.
Did you know? He wouldn't have known, actually. Did you know he's from Newcastle?
Oh, Thomas.
Thomas is a Georgian. Thomas is actually.
I thought you were trolling him and telling him I was from Newcastle.
No. That's what I mean. That's how shocking it is. He's actually a Georgian. He's an Ant and Dec fanboy.
Oh God, no!
You used to watch Baker Grove.
No, Chris, I really hated that. I hated Baker Grove. I loved Grange Hill. But I hated Baker Grove. Good God, I hated it. And I think I still do hate Ant and Dec. I can't find much good to like about them. But is Chippy Tits, is your accent non-English then?
No, it's London. It was just a lot more African American a few months ago.
Okay.
Chris has sorted that out.
Go on, next question, bro.
All right. Number 4. we all know the famous story of you BCFOing the evil Italian with the chair, but you also once said you also said once that there was another similar story that you were going to tell us. Could we get any previews of the story?
Oh my God, did I tell you? Was that I told you. I don't know whether that was related to the woman in the park story. There was a woman at the gym story, but
I think I've heard this one. Yeah.
Okay, I told you the woman in the gym story.
I think,
did I tell you? There was a, I don't think there's anything as bad as the chair in Italy, but there was, I don't, if there was another story after that, Chippy Tits, I think it was the one with the woman in the gym or the woman in the park or the man in the lift.
You need to do a video of just all your stories of confrontations one day.
Well, maybe. I did have an argument with a barista in Costa Coffee. He didn't let me use the toilets. So, it was still like, there was like still 15 minutes to closing time. So he said, you can't come in here. We're shut now. And I said, well, that's a bit retarded. And he said, oh, by the way, he was Eastern European and he was probably gay. And he said, oh, we don't use language like retarded anymore. So I was really annoyed. And, he started lecturing me. So eventually he said, I'm not going to let you use the toilet. And I said, well, in that case, it's, is it because I'm Jewish? And that he really lost his shit then. And he was like, oh, are you a Zionist? Are you?
No.
I started calling him a Nazi. And then he got really mad when I called him a Nazi, and he ran downstairs and got the other people who worked in the shop to come and, cover for him. But anyway, it didn't go anywhere other than, I called someone a Nazi and I accused him of being anti-Semitic. It's very funny though, because there was a woman with me, and she said, because I felt bad for doing this at the time, but it's totally worth it, because like when he thought that I was a white guy, like he was just clowning me. He was just like taking the piss all day long. And as soon as I pretended I was Jewish, he was like, oh, fuck you, you fucking Zionist. Like he was really mad because he knew that I was like playing the trump card. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'm interrupting you. No.
That's all right. No, continue. You got another question, yeah?
No, but I can't believe it got worse when he said you were Jewish. I thought it'd be worse when he thought you were white.
No, because they know that you can't criticize the you-know-whos.
Yeah.
But they also know that you should rightfully be able to criticize them, for the kind of shit that Israel does. So they get really mad because this guy was obviously like pro-Palestine as a leftist. So he was like outraged. Like he immediately saw me as kind of chucking white phosphorus on Palestinian babies. So he was really mad. But he was also like, he knew I had more social justice points than him. Whereas when he thought I was white, he was just taking a piss. He was just clowning me. He was like, it's really insulting when you do have a foreign person in your country telling you, oh, we don't speak like this. We're not speaking like this. We don't use these kinds of words these days. Like so patronizing, so rude.
Yeah. It's intrusive, isn't it? It's this sort of global homo attitude. You know what I mean?
I didn't quite catch that, Chippy Tits.
I'm sorry, it's intrusive, isn't it? And it's sort of this global homo attitude that people that come to Western countries sort of particularly have. If they're migrating to more local countries to them, then they're not normally as like this. But coming over to England, Germany, these sort of countries, they have this sort of attitude.
Yeah, I'm not against anyone, and I'll get along with anyone. But I don't like it when someone, like, first of all, if you're working in a cafe, you have to be nice to the people who are the customers. And second of all, if they're English and you're like not, it's not your prerogative to be rude. There was this Eastern European lesbian woman who runs a Starbucks in Sheffield where I live. And she was so fucking rude to me. And I was so fucking mad. And it's like, it's not, again, I'm happy to get on with anyone. I'm really very kind of easygoing, but I just don't, it's like so insulting that there's so many people in England who think they can just talk down to you. And this guy in Starbucks was like, so, you know, telling me, policing my language and telling me what I can say. He really got my my hackles up.
Yeah, definitely. That sort of shock too. But yeah, all right. I've got one last question as well. I want to wrap it up because I'm sort of taking over the show here. Right.
That's all right. Are you able to stay for like 15 minutes after as well? I want your opinion on something. Or are you busy? Is
that me?
Yeah. Can you stay for another 15 minutes?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I want to see if you have an opinion on a couple of things I want to speak to you about. Yeah.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
All right. Go on. Ask me a final question.
Last question: blonde, brunette, or ginger, and boobs or bum?
Okay, blonde, brunette, or ginger. I'm gonna have to go brunette. I really like women with black hair. I mean, just to be clear, I'll have all three if all three are on offer. But if I've really got to pick one, I very much like women with dark hair. Boobs or bum? Is that not a false dichotomy, Chippy Tits?
You've got me there.
Can you can't have both, or?
That's the right answer. It was a trick question. Definitely both.
What are you, Chippy Tits?
I would say probably ginger or blonde, and definitely boobs and bum. I don't know, ginger both. They just have something about them.
You like them?
Yeah.
Is it? Are they? What's the reason? Are they good in bed or?
Oh, some of them are freaks.
Ginger lads are good in bed as well, by the way. But that's not.
I don't know. When I was younger, I never used to like them. It's just sort of loads of hot ginger birds started just popping up out of nowhere. So.
Well, I tell you, I used to like Shannon from Home and Away. She was she's married to fucking what's his name now? Ali G. Sacha Baron Cohen.
No.
You know? Yes.
Oh wow. All right, let's move on. You okay to stay for 5-10 minutes? Because I've got a little question round for you, Thomas, soon. But I want to talk about a little bit of a rivalry with one person in particular. But I want to show a little video first, maybe just a little bit of it, maybe. So I don't know if James Case's in it, so I want his thoughts. He might have.
You don't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to harm you. Don't worry. I'm around Mr. Lamani. Please don't scream. I'm not going to harm you. I'm just putting my hand over your mouth there. If you don't scream, I'll buy you a kebab. If you do scream, I'll turn you into kebab. I'm around Mr. Lamani, so let's just relax. I'm not going to harm you. Please don't scream. You're a very beautiful woman. I want to go on a date with you. I'm just going to keep my hand over your mouth. Please don't scream. That's it. Just take it easy. Relax. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm around Mr. Lamani. If you don't scream, I'll buy a kebab. I might even buy a bag of chips. If you do scream, I'll turn you into kebab. Okay, calm down. I'm Ralph Lamani, so I'm very interested in NRX. So you've got the cathedral, you've got the emergent behavior, you've got you've got the data. You analyze the data. You look at the data. You sit back and you collect the data. Then you analyze the data in an analytical way. And then you sort of, it's the same as, it's the same as originally you had the Newtonian physics, and you had quantum physics, and you had Einstein's theory of relativity. And I'm just going to sort of mention some buzzwords from physics and science. And I sort of could go on like this. I hope I'll trick you all into thinking I'm really clever when I'm really just a dumb midwit. I'm just going to sort of talk about Newtonian physics, and quantum mechanics, and then Einstein's theory of relativity, and collecting the data. And then, okay, so don't scream. If you scream, I'll turn you into kebab. If you don't scream, I'll buy you kebab. If you do scream, I'll turn you into kebab. But if you don't scream, I'll buy you kebab, and I'll buy you a bag of chips as well. So don't scream. Okay. I'm going to just gently now, we're going to pull the pants down. You're going to notice an emerging phenomenon. There it is. That's the emerging phenomenon. That's the emerging phenomenon. That's it. Okay, that's the cathedral. Welcome there. There you can finally see it. That's a cathedral. Oh, that's it. Don't scream. If you scream, I'll turn you to kebab. If you don't scream, I'll buy you kebab. I'll buy you an onion bhaji. I'll buy you a bag of chips. But if you scream, I'll turn you into kebab. Don't scream. Don't scream. You scream, I'll turn you into kebab.
That's enough.
Oh my God.
That was pure Keno. Ralph. I'm impartial. But I do find it funny. You can have your revenge if you ever come on the show. Get a debate on. A TV. I'll host it. Come on, Ralph. No, would you debate him, or have you debated?
I've had him on my show twice, and the first time especially we had a discussion. You know what? What's the point of debating him? We've had the debate already. He is never going to see things from my perspective. I'm never going to see things from his perspective. So debate, I mean, what's the point, you know?
So just for the audience satisfaction, that's all. Because with a video like that, it's pretty funny, and I'm sure when he's watching this, he's gonna think, "Oh, you fucking bastard." I'm sure he'll take it in good spirits. I'm sure he will. But it might come if he comes on the show in the future, he might make a comment about you. You know, so I'm trying to build it up. I'm build it into a mega debate. Do you know what I mean? I want him on to put you down, make a little video of you. But I'm only joking.
I'm happy to go to war with him. You know, I'm at war with Ralph at the moment. So, you know, it's his move. I made those videos about him and he hasn't responded. So
was that your voice though?
Oh yes. Could you not tell? I thought it was really a weak impression.
Decent, to be fair. No, well, maybe a little bit, but I thought it was decent.
All right, thanks, mate. Yes.
I like the kebab bits. Like, if you don't scream, I buy you a kebab. That was brilliant. But where the hell did this rivalry first kick off?
Oh, he came on my show. I invited him on a show for a discussion. He talked about NRX, and I sort of listened to him. And then I told him about my views on conspiracy theories, and he just sort of laughed and mocked me and said that they're stupid and it's anti-scientific to believe in conspiracies, and also it's because I hate the you-know-whos. That's why I'm a conspiracy theorist. So that's when it first began to bubble over. He was just very dismissive of what I had to say. And then I criticized NRX in general and said in that video, I said Ralph was an idiot. And after that, he made a 1 hour, 40-minute video calling me an idiot, anti-scientific, you know, Jew hater, someone who lives in his mother's basement, that I needed to get washed, etc., etc. So I thought, right, fuck it, I'm gonna burn you at the stake.
Interesting.
And your style, when you do takedowns, I do love your style. You've got a unique style and it's pretty savage, I've got to admit.
Well, thanks, Chippy Tits. I know lots of people quite like the takedown videos. They sometimes come across as very impotent, though, because I don't have any power really, and I don't have a huge audience. So, I mean, the takedown videos of Keith Woods, I mean, what's the point of those really? I know people find them funny and amusing, but it's like he's just, you know, he just ignores everything I say, and it, like, ultimately, I think it makes me look a little bit stupid.
I know, but at the same time, you are counting for your audience. I mean, you've got your own audience there, you know, and I'm sure it could probably even grow. I mean, I'm not trying to say like use his name to grow off that, but but you're counting for your audience. If your audience finds this funny, then why not, man? Like, I think if there was a backlash from your audience saying, "Look, okay, this is looking stupid," like obviously you're going to get Keith Wood supporters maybe think, "Oh, this is stupid." You know, Keith is my hero, or Ralph is my hero. No, Ralph hasn't got anyone thinking he's a hero. Well, not actually, but no, but if your audience, if this is something your audience likes, I think it's good content. But I only seen that video today, a little scan through your channel. I was like, what? Because obviously I was looking through the YouTube and I thought, what's he sending over to it? What has he got on Ralph here? This is interesting. This is spicy. And I listened to that. I was in bits, to be fair. It did make me laugh. So I just had to stop it because otherwise I'd be laughing even more. I'm trying to be impartial here as well. So, but I think if it's your audience that enjoys it, continue doing things like that.
Yeah, well, you know, though, I want power over Keith Woods. I want victory over him. I want him to pay the consequences for calling me and others flu truthers. I want him to pay. I want to punish him. I'm not happy with just like making a rant video about him. I want more than that. It's the same with all the people we see in the world today. Like, I want revenge on these people, whether we're talking about Piers Morgan or whether you're talking about, I don't know, Ben Shapiro or whoever it is, or, you know, Ash Sakar, Owen Jones, you know, Alexandria Cortez in America, whoever, all these fuckers, I want them punished. You know, and it's nice to make rant videos.
We are talking in a non-violent way, aren't we?
For your yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Sorry, Chris. I should be very careful. Yes, I absolutely. So I hope that doesn't. I hope I haven't just.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. I've had one or two incidents in the past.
Okay, sorry.
Newspapers. Hopefully this. Hopefully this one don't, and Keith Woods will see it in the Irish newspapers. Calling you out, bitch, debating. That's what you need. You need your own little groiper. You've got a little groiper army. Send it over to his channel. Debate, maybe bitch. Send TBR groipers over there.
That's it. Get your gripe on. Because if you're right at the end of the day, then you're right. You might as well just keep on telling the truth, because there's no point just letting subversive people or grifters or anything like that just take the mass audience and just subvert them to do whatever they want with them for their own purpose. Like, if you're telling the truth, just keep telling the truth and keep at it.
Yeah, and I think Keith Woods is guilty of lots of crimes, and, you know, not just getting it wrong, but ridiculing people who were getting it right, you know, in terms of COVID, and then refusing to have debates with them, and then refusing to apologize, refusing to admit that he got it wrong. You know, I don't like. There's a lot of people on the internet who, you know, they talk tough. You know, Keith Woods will slag people off, but then he doesn't really engage in honest debates with people, and it really annoys me.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few like that. I mean, I've made some mistakes, and I've been honest to come out and say on my shows or on other shows, like, yeah, you know what, I fucked up here. I apologise, but there's loads where I think they fucked up against me, lied about me, and when I show evidence of it, I show complete proof. Radio silence from these people. You know what I mean? But I also think, you know what, if the audience watching, you know, they can see me and say, like, hold my hands up here, and they're watching these people. Hang on a minute. So these guys pretend they're always in the right. They're never in the wrong. They never own up to any mistakes. The guy is showing evidence on where he's got X, Y, Z wrong. You know, like, I think people will naturally lose that little bit of respect for them to not come out and say, look, okay, I fucked up here, or I was wrong on this particular issue. I apologise, you know, or have a discussion with the person that's, you know, alleging that you're wrong or whatever. I think the audience itself will have a bit more respect. And there has been a couple with me that have messaged me over arguments I've had with other people, and they said, look, I've seen both sides of the story, man. Like, fair play for admitting your wrongs as well, Chris. But, you know, you're looking the bigger man here. You've apologised for your fuck ups. You've shown proof on, you know, that person, and their silence is just telling me everything I need to know about them. So I think it kind of works like that as well.
I entirely agree, Chris. And if you look at like Morgoth got COVID wrong and apologized for it and accepted he got it wrong, and so did Gerard Murphy, and so did Pox Populi. And in each case, they looked like the bigger man for just holding their hands up and say, we got it wrong, and turning around and said, we made a mistake. And I don't have any problem with those people. In fact, I like them. I respect the fact that they admitted they got it wrong. So I think in some ways it's like it's a missed opportunity not to show that you are, you know, to admit that you're wrong. But Chris, I don't really know what happened with you and PA, but obviously I heard about it from a distance. But was it you? I don't know whether you want to tell me about it, or was it? Or you don't want to go into it too long?
It is a long story, and I think my audience is probably sick of it. I can talk to you about it. I don't know. It's going to be a long story if it's now. Do you know what I mean? I've got things to ask you as well.
But I remember seeing photographs of you at the PA originally, like you were in from the beginning, weren't you?
Yeah. I mean, I gave look in a nutshell. I was with a girl in PA, you know, going to get married. She'd done a bit of a dirty on me, fucked my head up, screwed me up, and I turned to alcohol. You know, acted a bit of a twat in an essence. Yeah, acted like a twat. you know, a lot of lies then spread about me. You know, this girl, you know, look, men just take the woman's side all the time. Do you know what I mean? So I felt they took her side on some of the bollocks she put out. You know, sent me a bit insane. You know, I was heartbroken, turned to drink, and we had a big falling out over it. And you know, but just they pushed me out. You know, they seen that I was in a bad place. But in my opinion, you know, when your brother is in a bad place, you stand by him. You know, I was always going to get over it. You know, I'm all right. I'm happy now. It was just a bad period, and I think as an organisation puts it on, we're a family organisation. We're always here for you. I mean, they were brilliant towards me when I was firing out all these great phone calls and all these shows, and you know, and spreading the word as much as I can. But a 2-3 month depression period, turning to alcohol, they should have just been a little bit more supportive than they was, and they pushed me out. A lot made some lies, and then they went to a journalist. You know, and I don't really like talking like when it's you, because people, they might watch this. You know what I mean? I think, oh, he's talking shit. I'd rather him on the stream. You know, I've called out Mark Collette. I was like, look, mate, he's gone to a journalist and spoke shit about me. He's done a show talking shit about me. Let's get on the show. Let's have a conversation like this, and you can tell me where I went wrong. And I was like, you know what, fair play. I was wrong there, but was you wrong here? And they won't do it. As I just stated, yeah, these are the sort of people that will not hold their hands up. What I fucked up. I mean, there's a report. Look, there's an actual recording of him going to a journalist, talking shit about me, talking shit about my personal life, bringing Thomas Sewell in. Like, well, he's an Australian nationalist, so not relevant to our country per se, but. You know, so it's one of them. I don't really like to. I mean, I did talk about it very vocally when it happened, because I was in a bad place. I felt like I was kicked to the curb, and there might be people watching this and think, Chris, you're full of shit. You're these. I was like, well, come on, let's have a chat. So when it's just a 1v1 versus me and you, it's kind of, they might say, oh, it's just his say. Why don't you get their say? I was like, well, why don't you get both our says on the same show? You know, so we can have the back and forth. I would love that. You know what I mean? I've called out Mark and others in PA for discussion, a debate on what happened and what truly happened. You know, they sold me a good, and you know, they've just gone to their audience. He's done this, he's done X, Y, Z. Don't get me wrong, there was a few mistakes. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I hold my hand up. I'm like, I fucked up here, but I understand. I was going through fucking depression. Mate, I was waking up every day wanting to commit suicide. I woke up every day, 10 o'clock, bake a sandwich, 12 o'clock, pubs open, getting pissed all day, and fucking wanted to commit suicide every day. I just had to drink, and you know, my saviour was actually coming on live streams. I used to literally lie on my bed, fucking wanting to commit suicide, and then just thought, fuck it, let's go on a live stream, play some music. So I used to do like a radio show on my own, and just used to, come on, guys in the audience, give me a track, and I'll put it on, and I just used to sit here, have a drink, play some music, and just chat to the audience. But I kept it very under wraps. No one would know. It's like no one would have known the depression I was going through. That was my escape. You know, the live show is playing the music and speaking to my audience. And then obviously, you know, it came to a point when they lied. Oh, MI5 has rang us. This was the end bit when they got rid of me. They said MI5 has rang us and said they're looking into you, so you're going to have to leave. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's like MI5 are not just going to ring you. Like, some of you guys are getting like your door booted in for leaflets. Why, like, MI5 going to be ringing you over me? So yeah, that's how it ended. And then I had some of the 37 boys on. You know, I had done an open panel on the night. They said, like, you can keep the channel, you can do what you want. So all right, yeah, wish you all the best. And on that same evening, you know, I weren't even bitter that night. I basically said, look, I'm not with PA anymore, but please keep supporting them. I still support them. Just this ain't going to be a PA show anymore, and I wish them all the best. And this is an open panel. This is the shows I'm going to go forward. And I had 37 come on. I had one of the 37s come on, Phil, some Northern as well. That guy, he came on, and then they just, oh, you've had your enemy on. So look, mate, I told him when he come on the show, I said, mate, just don't talk bad about PA. This is not going to be an anti-PA show. He agreed. But yeah, they lost their plot because they seen me platforming people that's been calling them out. But you know, I was independent. You know, it was an open panel. What can I say? Well, I know I'm independent and it's an open panel, but you guys who have called out PA aren't coming on. I mean, I already told him that he can't speak about PA, and they released all this stuff about me. And yeah, I didn't really.
But Chris, are you saying that Mark Collette he spoke to the media about you?
Yeah, well, not just about me. They were doing a hit piece on PA. They done a journalist contacted me, and I put out the post, and the journalist contacted me. Will you meet me to do a story on Mark Collette and Patriotic Alternative? I said no. I don't want to talk about them at all to you guys, the journalists. I put the screenshot out and said, look, as much as you fucking guys have put out my personal life, made lies of me. I mean, they made up lies like I was a wife beater, no evidence. I used to be addicted to cocaine 8 years ago. They said I was on coke. I wasn't. You know, they all these silly lies. I mean, the one thing, they got a few things right. Like I was addicted to alcohol, but it was just some of the bullshit. And I was like, man, just take these lies back, man, because that's not fair. I was getting people in my inbox, you wife beating cunts, and that was not nice, considering whatever she might think of me. Obviously, I never attacked her, man. I never attacked her, and she could have done a little bit better and just come out and said, look, he never attacked me, but she just tried to act like the princess and whatever. And it was me, Mr. Bad Guy, but he went and met the journalist. Okay. He went, and it was just to answer questions about PA, and there was a 5-minute segment on me. Yeah, which I can send to you. I've got that cut anyway somewhere in my channel.
Okay. Yes, please. I'd be interested in that.
But yeah. Sorry, I didn't really want to talk about it because I know that there's probably a couple of PA that might watch. So apologies to you guys in the chat. I mean, these guys obviously don't know, and but if anyone wants to bring it up and have a little show with me, a little debate on it, I will happily speak to Michael any day of the week and twice on Sundays on this issue. As I stand by the truth.
It would be nice to see Mark actually come forward and talk to you after all of this as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But just as man to man, just out of respect, it would be nice to just see him just sort of. It feels like he's not manning up and doing it. He's just sort of burying his head in the sand and letting other people deal with it.
Yeah.
Using smears and stuff like this. Sort of.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know the full situation, but yeah, it just feels like it would be a lot more honest if he just had a one-to-one chat with you, even if it was in private, not on stream or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take that, but I mean, I'm happy. I moved on, and I kind of wish I do wish him well to a degree, but I think I think bad bastards to a degree as well, and just be careful. Just don't get too close to these people. I mean, maybe that was the problem as well, getting too close, building too much of a friendship with them. You know what I mean? And whereas I feel bad on the activists. I'm like, well, like if I'm calling out these people, and they're like, well, yeah, if you're right, Chris, well, where do I move to? Because PA is all we got really. That's where I go and meet my mates. They do their activism every Saturday or once a month, and most of the country are not even going to be seeing Mark. Do you know what I mean? They're meeting other nationalists. It's under the PA banner and under Mark, but they're not really meeting Mark for all this. So it's just like, if I get them to call them out, then they're going to get booted out. They're going to lose that friendship they've got within their PA region. And so I understand why, like, a lot of them, like my fallout with them don't affect their life. And I wouldn't expect them to be like fighting my battles for me and risking getting kicked out and then losing their friendships, because I've obviously lost a lot of friends within that movement. There's quite a few of them that message me still. I'm not going to name them because I literally like, look, you can don't ever say my name on stream. Don't ever because they're getting a lot of shit, man. There's been a couple of people that's come on stream and behind the scenes, Mark has phoned up. Oh, what are you doing if you go on stream with him again? You're not allowed to our events again. Little things like that. And I think that's bad. And I didn't really want to talk about him. You brought this up, so let's.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry, Chris. I didn't mean to. I was just.
No, it's all right. So, should we move on? Let's move on. But if anyone wants to speak to me about this, my DMs are open, or a live show. But let's move on. I got a little. I was going to call it the quick fire round, but in fact, I probably want to get your reasons on some of them. So it's like basically, would you rather be? Yeah, would you rather be so or something else? Yeah. So question one: would you rather be a blind Jew or a deaf Muslim?
Oh my God. I'd have to be a deaf Muslim, I think, because I prize my eyes so much.
Yeah.
What do most people say on that one?
I've never asked this before. I have never done this round. I've never done this 10 quick fire round. It's not even going to be quick really, because it's quite funny when I have a little chat about it. But I thought with you, you know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to introduce a new game. So he's being christened right now, and I probably will go ahead with doing this more often. But he has been christened today. Only me and James K knows about this little game.
What would you be, Chippy Tits?
I didn't even think about it myself, you know. I'd probably go with the deaf Muslim, because then you can learn sign language. I'd end up converting to Christianity though.
Yeah, at least you can see as well, can't you? You can see. You can.
Yeah, but no, losing your eyesight, that's got to be pretty bad.
Yeah. I think it'd be more about that. I'll ignore the religious aspect of it and just think, I'd rather see than I think I'd have to go with that as well. All right, and number 2, homeless or live with Ralph?
I'd have to live with Ralph. I'd turn him into a kebab, though.
No way.
Ralph is clipping that.
I can't do homelessness. Oh God, I couldn't live on the streets now.
No. Yeah, fair point. Ralph, you better be a good cook, mate. He's moving in.
I'd be pitching up my tent. I'd be somewhere in central London, because a lot of them get like £200-300 a day just for begging, and you know, free food, free drinks. It's an easy life.
All right, question 3: eaten by a shark or a crocodile?
Oh, crocodile, because it would probably be on land.
Yeah, good point. Would shark be quicker? I think shark might be quicker, wouldn't it?
You think so?
Yeah, I'd probably go shark because it'd be quicker.
Yeah, that's painful.
Yeah.
You'd probably drown, wouldn't you?
This actually next one is J&K's, by the way.
Okay.
He's one. Number 4: burning herpes or forgive Keith Woods?
Oh God. Is there a third position on this one? I'm gonna have to forgive Keith Woods.
Oh, that's another one that's getting clipped. Question 5: wake up with a different face but same gender, or different gender but same face?
I think I could pull off the looking like a woman bit, so I'd go same face, different gender.
All right, number 6: have your hands stuck in a jar or your head stuck in a basket?
Hand in a jar.
Yeah. This is the one. This is the one we all want to know. Be Ralph or Keith Woods for a day?
I hate the guy completely, but I would always be Ralph for the day. Never Keith Woods. That would be hideous.
Would you not be Keith Woods and just chuck yourself over a bridge or something?
Well, that's quite a good idea. Yeah, I suppose.
All right. Be strong or change into animals. So be super strong or change into animals.
Super strong.
Sound like Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck for the rest of your life?
Donald Duck.
Okay. This was. I think you actually come with this one as well, James. Which is worst? A terrorist coming to kill you, or Ralph emerging up your driveway pretending to be intelligent?
I'm gonna go the terrorist, because at least if Ralph did that, I could have a clash with him. Whereas if the terrorist was coming up my drive, coming to kill me, I'd be shitting myself.
But the terrorist wouldn't be emerging though. That's the thing. Ralph would emerge.
I'm gonna right. So okay, this show's been epic. I want to talk about your life as a YouTuber. I might have to do a part 2. Are you up for a part 2?
Oh man, there's so much to go into with him. That's what I mean. He's the king of Kino.
I've got all these topics, and like, I like to normally get done by an hour and a half, but I can go another. I'll go another 10 minutes. I got something to do. But would you do a part 2?
Quick fire down as much as you can or something.
I'm happy to do a part 2 if you really want to, Chris. But don't worry about fitting in all the questions.
Now we'll do a part 2 because I do. There is a few deep things I want to go into, you know, with the conspiracies. So maybe just a show. I think this is pretty much been get to know each other as an kind of show. So I would like to talk a bit about your conspiracy theories and whatnot, and get deep into your politics a little bit more. So, but it's been an absolute fucking laugh. So before we go on to final words and anything you need to advertise, we'll ask this one question, and we'll come back for a part 2. We'll discuss that in our background. So, you know, knowing between me and you, we'll probably get it done in about 4 years' time, something like that. I was just super nervous, mate. Not every day you get to meet Lord TBR on a screen. Yeah.
Hail TBR.
Hail TBR. Hail TBR. All right, so we'll go to this final. YouTube life. I mean, how did you get into it? What made you get into it? Yeah, we'll start off with that first.
You know, I always throughout the late noughties, like I was really mad with political correctness. And so I wanted to express my opinions about how stupid political correctness was going to get. So sort of from like 2008, I always had the idea that eventually I would end up on YouTube telling the world my opinions and banging the world to rights. And so, you know, it was always inevitable that would happen. And then in 2013, I got red pilled. And that really drove me to get onto YouTube and start telling people what I thought about things.
I mean, I do you get many strikes? I mean, like I've just had about 8-9 channels. I have. I mean, I probably do Fed posts as such. YouTube, I'm not major Fed posts, you know what I mean? But I'd probably say 1 or 2 things that I probably shouldn't. Is that something that you're very much aware of doing? Do you handle the algorithm just right?
I don't know what's happened. I think I've been very lucky in the last 2 years. I was getting strikes back in 2016, and it's a fucking bitch because it puts, you know, I would get a strike and I couldn't upload for another 3 months, and it was really annoying. And I've had that constantly in my career, 2016, 2017, 2018. But, you know, touch wood, I have not had that in the last 2 years. It's very interesting. It's all the problem with the YouTube algorithm is that it's completely anarcho-tyrannical, and it's totally random as to whether you get struck or not.
I know the answer actually. Good, like someone told me this. Rumors have it you have been paid a few shekels. That's why you've not been
I'm an open Rothschild supremacist, so I'm happy. I'm happy for people to think that.
Fair enough. All right, and I think that we'll cut it there. I think it's been an excellent show. I got a few things to do. I can't go any longer, but let's definitely 100. Oh, by the way, I did want to add one compliment in, but I don't know, like what I noticed about the last couple of shows with you is your interaction with the chat. I mean, very much similar to me. I mean, I know we're not live now, but with how I always I never once asked. I mean, you might have in the past. I don't know, but from what I noticed, you don't ask for money. You interact with the chat. You'll ask any question in the chat. I mean, I was pretty much similar on that when I done my live shows or when I do a live show. You know, I hate asking for money. It doesn't sit well with me. You know, good luck to those that do. You know, from the shows I've watched from you, you don't ask for money because you can easily. You might not get super chats. I don't know if you get super chats, but you could get entropy anyway. Do you know what I mean? And you don't ask for them. And me and Jane K, we came into the one with you and Jordan. Me and kind of like just gave you some stupid questions, like really, and like a lot of people, if they were asking the questions, me and Jane K was putting in there, they think, "Oh, fucking idiot! I ain't asking." You asked every single one of them. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, no, right. This guy is a legend, man. It doesn't matter.
Proper legend.
It is getting asked, and obviously George as well. To his credit, he was answering the questions as well.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Applaud for that. But what's your position on these YouTubers that text super chats, entropies, or is that something you have done or will look to do in the future?
It's never something I've done, and I hope to avoid doing it. I really don't have a problem with people doing it. You know, people have to get paid, especially if they're making, dissident content, which could get them into trouble. So I think people are totally entitled to make money that way. And if fans want to support their favorite YouTubers that way, I think that's great. I will say, though, there are certain people where you think, they're not willing. I was on Edward Dutton's show. He wouldn't talk about anything. He wasn't interested in discussing the topics that these red pill topics that I wanted to talk about. And at the end of the day, he just looks like a guy who is grifting, taking super chat money, and isn't really that interested in the ideas. So, but that said, people, I will always reiterate, people are entitled to make money, especially if they're producing distant content.
All right, fair comment. All right, we'll wrap up the show there because I have got to literally shoot off out. But it's been an absolute pleasure. Obviously, definitely get part 2 because I've got some good, interesting topics I want to talk about. So I don't feel like we're halfway done, to be honest. I think a part 2 would be great if I can get another hour to an hour and a half out of your time in the near future. I'll discuss that in DMs on Telegram, bro. It's been an absolute pleasure. Been a laugh, Thanks for also interviewing me as well. To be fair, I think you're a great interview. Do you know what I mean? You're the first one that come in. Let's take over the Chris Mitchell podcast. So we got a new podcast. Barton Reese. But no, honestly, you obviously don't know everything about me. I don't know everything about you. So we'll see this as a get to know each other show, and we'll get into the real fruit and veg of it, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, we'll go over to James. We'll let JMK have his final say, and I'll come to your final say. JMK, bro, dance for anything. I mean,
it's been an absolute pleasure. Absolute legend. Hail TBR, TBR loyalists for life, spatula gang. Do you still have the spatula? That's one last thing I needed to ask.
Yes, but it's in my other house. It's in my flat in Newcastle, so I don't have it with me here in Sheffield. But yes, I've got that. But anyway, let me just say thanks to both you guys. Thanks, Chris, very much for having me on. It's been a great interview, and I really enjoyed it. And thanks, Chippy Tits, for your questions as well, and of course for running the TBR supremacist Telegram group. So, thanks a lot, boys. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a great conversation.
Yeah, just a quick one. Anything you want to plug, dude, just in case if there's anyone watching this that might not know who you are.
My channel is called Thomas Barton Reese on YouTube. If you put that into the search algorithm on YouTube, you'll find me. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to send me some links in DM there, like all your others in that, I'll whip it in the description if you want, bud.
Put the TikTok in there as well, because Chris is pretty famous on TikTok.
I've got TikTok. Yeah, I've got TikTok as well. No, yeah, get the TikTok in there.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of views as well. It's getting loads of views.
Yeah. No, I've got about 15 followers. Me on TikTok.
Mine's going through the roof, man. To be honest.
Really?
Yeah. I've got about nearly 2,000 followers. I've been doing these videos like London in 2 minutes, like that got 12,000 views. I'm just doing all these little separate towns and cities about demographics and whatnot. But we didn't even really go into demographics of it, but they're definitely a part 2, and I'm sure the audience have loved this show, man, as much as I have. And JMK, hail TBR, and let's get part 2 on very soon, bro.
King of Kino. Pleasure chatting to you, man. Have a good one.